Deputy Prime Minister Heng Keat said spreading falsehoods with no basis is not the right kind of politics. This latest salvo came after the Singapore Democratic Party declared success on Thursday night for getting an assurance from the PAP that it has no intention of increasing the population to 10 million.
You erect a bogeyman and then after that you declare success. I personally feel all along that integrity is very important. The reason why so many of our businesses have been doing well overseas is that Singaporeans are known to have integrity. So we must keep honesty and integrity in our system, and we must expect that of all candidates.
The PAP had called for SDP chief Chee Soon Juan to admit that his party's campaign was based on a falsehood, withdraw it, and apologize to Singaporeans for misleading them. On a walkabout outside Bukit Batok MRT station on Thursday, Dr. Chee said the figure was also cited by several other people, which was why the SDP asked the PAP to set the record straight.
The residents are now saying, okay, 10 million. And they were saying it's so good that SDP has brought this up and we put a stop to it. So we're glad that at least one of the issues that we've raised, the government has clarified.
This morning, leaders of the Progress Singapore Party and Workers' Party said that the government should have clarified its position earlier.
I don't want to, mistakenly paraphrase what the PAP has said or what the SDP has said, but it seems to be, an issue because of the nature of POFMA and the nature of this of falsehoods. How do we describe a falsehood? We know it's a false statement of fact, but when you have ministers in the past who make allusions to we possibly could have a larger population size, then I think there is room for fair comment about really what is the size that you're aiming towards. I think most reasonable people would come to that conclusion, but of course there could be different positions, and now the ministers have come out to make it clear. I think it was Minister Vivian Balakrishnan who said, we're not even going to reach 6.9. So one of the things I don't understand is why can't these things actually come up, well before the elections? I mean, it's the government's position, so it should state that very clearly.
PSP Chief Tan Cheng Bock said that if the data is not given, people would speculate and called for the government to be more transparent with its information. Mr. Heng was asked at a forum in 2019 about Singapore's population white paper. He mentioned former HDB Chief Executive Mr. Liu Tai Ke, who had raised the notion that Singapore should plan for 10 million people for it to remain sustainable in the long term. But Mr. Heng didn't say Singapore should plan for 10 million people, nor did he mention the figure, and his point was that social space is also important. In the walkabout on Friday, Mr. Heng also highlighted that parties should instead focus on seeking to serve Singaporeans.
The country is facing major challenges ahead, so let's not get distracted. Let's focus on the key issues at hand, and let's see how we can create a better life for all Singaporeans. This is the core issue of this election.
Mr. Heng is the anchor minister in East Coast GRC and was accompanied by outgoing East Coast MP Lee Yi Hsien and new face Tan Kiat Hao.